Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts right now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards. I am live here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios out here on the sprawling campus, beautiful sprawling campus of WYAB here in Flora, Mississippi. The compound, highly secure, gated, big walls, big beautiful walls around this compound, plush compound, Second Amendment outpost, First Amendment outpost, independently owned. This is the Clay Edwards Show. You've tuned in for 1,025 episodes now. Thank you so much. If you want to chime in this morning, and I have a feeling you will, the Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. The Mazda of Jackson phone line is 601-879-0002. 601-879-0002. We're streaming worldwide in stunning HD. You can see one of my brand new FAFO hats that are available now on the website at buyfafo.com. They are available in stock. It's black on the front, it's white on the back, and it's got the stacked FAFO on the left corner of the front. Good looking hat. Mighty fine hat. We got some others on the site available as well. You can grab those at buyfafo.com. But we are streaming at SaveJXN on Facebook, X, and YouTube. And we're over on Rumble at Clay Edwards Show. I think we've got everything out of the way. It's a Testosterone Tuesday. I just keep making new names up for these days. Whatever works, man. I got just new ways to say the same thing over and over again. 1,025 times. I ain't complaining. Just trying to keep it fresh. It's a Testosterone Tuesday here on the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, be sure to text my name, Clay, to 601-800-5031, 601-800-5031, and get your complimentary testosterone screening today and start taking your life back. Get to feeling like you're in your 20s all over again. Build muscle, have a better sex life, sleep better, less anxiety. I could go on and on and on. Get your dang levels checked today. Thank me later. All right. Good morning to everybody in the live chat. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Man, me and Sean had a barn burner of a live stream last night. Lindsay was out sick. I don't know what her status is for their show today, but last night she was out sick. So Sean and I took it back to the old school, just him and I, for an hour and a half. And, man, we tore through some topics. I highly recommend y'all check out the live stream from last night. I will get the podcast loaded up this morning after the show. I was wore out last night. And I went straight to bed as soon as we got done. So I didn't get a chance to get it uploaded to the audio platforms. But it is available at all the usual places, wherever you're watching this show now, if you're streaming it. Really, really good show. We took a deep dive. And that's why I waited to talk about it, because I knew Sean would be a great conversationist for it, as far as the details and explaining some of these things. And to the Tulsi Gabbard's release of the documents allegedly proving that the Obama administration did in fact intentionally spy on Trump and create Operation Crossfire Hurricane, which is the PP dossier. So a lot of interesting stuff there. Again, I'll tell y'all, if you were listening yesterday, it's just so above my pay grade and my ability to regurgitate information that I just don't like speaking on things that I can't speak on confidently. Now, I believe Trump. I trust Trump. Trump has earned the right from me to just trust him. Because every time the media says, oh, this is the time, we got him, guys, this is it. We know we've been wrong before, but this is the time. We got him. Dead to rights. Guilty. We got him. He's going to prison. Possibly even a firing squad. We got him, guys. Ah, dang it. Wrong again, but the media never tells you the wrong. Never. They never run a retraction. PP-gate as prime example. Russiagate, all the same thing. So I've just got to where I give Trump the benefit of the doubt. Like I give law enforcement the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I know what the video shows, but I mean, it's edited. So that's kind of my thought process on all of this. I'm going to give Trump the benefit of the doubt on stuff. And I'm going to give Tulsi Gabbard the benefit of the doubt and assume she's right. And I'm going to assume that Trump is right. And I'm going to assume that Biden and them are wrong because, well, they've done so much wrong. They don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. So, guilty till proven innocent. Treat them like they treated Trump. Lock them up. Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. Nobody. So that's kind of, well, we took a deep dive into that. We took a deep dive into the Epstein Trump birthday card debacle. And we even took a unusually deep dive into how bad Coldplay sucks. And Tool. Tool and Coldplay are two of the most overrated bands in history. Tool is the metal version of Coldplay. It's what I call smart people rock. It's your buddies that, it's engineer rock. Sorry, engineers out there. It's scientist rock. It's nerd rock. Maybe that's the best way to put it. It's nerd metal. You bunch of nerds out there listening to Tool and Coldplay, pretending it doesn't suck. 9 Inch Nails, Tool. I'm just not a Maynard James Keenan fan. Sucks. You know, we took a deep dive into that. We talked about some great bands like Creed and Limp Bizkit and Kid Rock, Stained, Linkin Park. That's real music. We even talked about Oasis a good bit and how I've been really impressed with their comeback. So that's probably the last 20 minutes of the show. Probably the best part of the show, too, to be honest. We talked about how Limp Bizkit got away with naming an album Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water and what that really means. And how you couldn't get away with that in 2025. The wokesters would not allow it. Yeah, on the Guns of Gear text line, somebody says Metallica, Pantera. That's exactly what I said last night, too. I said, give me my real metal. Metallica, Pantera. Bands like that. Pantera was the first band I said, actually. I'm doing a little disservice today. I may not have said Metallica, but if I didn't, it doesn't have to be said. Metallica is the greatest metal band of all time. I don't care what anybody says. Metallica is the greatest living American rock band of all time, and they're the greatest heavy metal band of all time. And there's not a close second. Sure, they've had some ups and downs musically since the Black Album, but the fact that they're still doing it at the level they are, still releasing new music, whether I listen to it or not, their catalog is the best catalog, top to bottom. They're so good that they are doing back-to-back nights at stadiums and not playing the same song twice. That's how many hits Metallica has. There's not another band that can do that. The Rolling Stones can't do that. That's one of the most overrated bands in the world, the Rolling Stones. Would I go see them live? Absolutely. They're icons. I'm not arguing that they're icons. I would 100% go see them live if the opportunity presented itself. But are they one of the greatest bands ever? No. They're one of the most famous bands ever. A big difference. Like Beyonce's music sucks, but she's one of the most famous people in the world. I'd go to a Beyonce concert. Nah. I would like to go see the production because I love big production, pyro, LED screens, the stage, all the cool theatrics. I love that. I mean, my first concert was Poison. Second concert was Mötley Crüe. I love a big production. It spoiled me early. That's why I never got into grunge music because the concerts looked like they sucked. Bunch of guys on a flat stage wearing flannel standing at their feet. Now, I love as I have grown, I love grunge music now. Musically, it's some of the best music. It stands up in the test of time. A lot of that grunge rock, it's right up there with some of the greatest stuff like Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, Poison, Mötley Crüe. You know, but some bands like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, you know, they belong up there with some of them. I don't know. Pearl Jam kind of sucks. They got a few really good songs. Then they got a lot of suck. But there are a few really good songs. They stand up there with like Poison and Mötley. I'll put them on a playlist. I will. So, you know, we got into a great conversation about that, but I could talk music all day with y'all. I'm kind of tired of talking about politics. And there's a part of me that says, Clay, it's the Clay Edwards Show. Just do whatever you want to do, dog. Have a Clay day. Just talk about what you want to talk about. But I know that's not why you tuned in. I know you tuned in because there's a lot of big things going on in the world today. There's a lot of big things going on locally. And I'll satisfy that. And we're going to take a break because I didn't plan on talking about music for 10 minutes. But that's how we do things here on the Clay Edwards Show. But I will ask this. Let's do a question of the day before we come back and get into the news. Who's the most overrated band of all time? What led to that conversation last night about music was we talked about the Coldplay incident that's gone nuclear viral, unlike anything I've seen in a long time, as quick as it is. The guy, the big CEO that got caught cheating with the HR director from that, apparently he's some woke CEO. That's what I saw anyway. He's already had to take a leave of absence or resign or whatever. But I would rather be caught cheating than be caught at a Coldplay concert. I mean, that really tells me all I need to know about the guy. He's a piece of crap. He was at a Coldplay concert. He deserves whatever is going to happen to him. Coldplay. I am more blown away that there's 80,000 people that would go see Coldplay at a football stadium. Coldplay is playing stadiums. We used to be a proper country, damn it. What happened? What happened? Also, rewinding back to what I said about going to a Beyonce concert and why I wouldn't do it. I don't want to be around a bunch of yas queens. Don't want to do it. And the cowboy hats pretending to be country. Yes, queen. No, sir. Not today. Not today, Satan. Not tomorrow either. We'll be right back. Y'all don't go nowhere. This is the Clay Edwards Show, doing what we do here on 103.9 FM, WYAB. .com. All right. A lot of people are commenting on the music stuff, and let's ride the hot hand here for a minute. Let's ride the hot hand. A lot of people. I asked the question of the day is, what are the worst, most overrated bands in the world? Somebody said Michael Edwards said U2, and God, they're so bad that I try to block them out of my mind completely. But U2 may be worse than Coldplay. Bono is definitely worse than any other human being in the world. South Park did such a good job projecting him as just being a pile of poo. It's phenomenal. They hit the nail on the head. He was on Rogan recently, and Rogan just owned him on every one of his liberal lies he tried to spew about like USAID money and this, that, and the other. Oh, it was great. Made me hate U2 even more, if that's even possible. So I'd mentioned Oasis. Oasis is in the midst of a massive comeback right now, playing huge stadiums. And they've sold out all their stadiums here in America, too. Not just overseas. Hugo is like, Oasis was a one-hit wonder band, bro. Please don't mention them in the same statement as Tool. Tool's not even a one-hit wonder. Tool never had a hit remotely as big as Oasis. Oasis had multiple hits. Multiple. You just don't remember. Tool sucks. I'm not saying Oasis doesn't suck. But I am kind of coming around on them here lately. I've been watching a lot of their live videos just because I love watching live videos. with massive crowds, excited crowds, and Oasis crowd doesn't know they're at an Oasis concert. Oasis crowd thinks they're at Woodstock 99 and Limp Bizkit's on the stage on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. It's really weird watching the energy the crowd is putting off versus the music the band is playing. It's like, are we watching the same concert? But anyway, it's really fun to watch. Kind of gives me a new respect for Oasis, the fact that their fans are that passionate. Blake says the Dave Matthews Band is wildly overrated. That's another one. That's another one that a band a lot of people like that I don't. And I'm just going to say this, and I know I'm going to upset a lot of my folks out there. Any band considered a jam band sucks. All of them. Now, I will throw a caveat out there. Most of these bands that we're naming have some of the best musicians in the world in them. But the music they decide to form and make and play together is terrible. No song should be 12 minutes long. No song, I'm going to be honest, no song should be longer than about 3 minutes. That is all I need out of a song. About 3 minutes. 3:15, 3:20, maybe 3.5. Anything past that's just too much. Guns and Gear text line, unknown texter, widespread panic sucks. Yep. I'm saying, man, if it ain't Poison, Mötley Crüe, Warrant, Guns N' Roses, Candlebox, Three Doors Down, Pantera, Stained, Limp Bizkit, Creed, Daltrey, 12 Stones, Kid Rock. It probably sucks. People all, for years, Nickelback. How dare I forget Nickelback? Nickelback rocks. And I'm not being facetious either this morning. I'm telling you, Nickelback is one of the best bands of all time. Scoreboard, baby. Look how many records they sold. Look how many hits they've had. Scoreboard. Nickelback is one of the greatest bands of all time. Y'all hate them just because they're good. There's two people in this world. There's people who love Nickelback and people who are lying. Unknown texter asked me, do I like White Zombie? Another great band. Love Rob Zombie. Love White Zombie. Love all that stuff. Unknown texter says he's going to give me one band for each genre that's overrated. For rock, he chose Metallica. He's wrong. Country, Morgan Wallen. That's debatable. Morgan's got some songs I like. He's huge right now. I mean, he's got a lot of fans, and he's holding on. I mean, I thought his 15 minutes would be up a long time ago, and he is still going strong. Rap, Travis Scott. I would definitely give you the Travis Scott one. I'm not a Travis Scott fan, but in fairness, if rap music, if it's come out in the last 15 years, it's all sucked to me. I got a little bit of the Migos on a playlist for working out, like Bad and Bougie, a little bit of that trap stuff. Just my old South Jackson in me just likes the beat to it, and I like working out to it. But anything past Migos, like that is literally the newest rap that I've listened to. And I know one of those guys is dead now because, of course, he is. And so, yeah, I like Travis Scott. I follow Travis Scott's career a little bit because I do find it, I think he's I don't know that he's a smart businessman, but he has definitely surrounded himself around some smart business people, some smart managers. And he uses his real name, which is very unique in the rap space. And he's got that deal with Nike. So he's a brand, and he's using his real name. So I do have a lot of respect for that, but he's also really, really responsible for a lot of kids that died at that music festival that he put on in Texas a few years ago, Astro World. I highly recommend watching that documentary on Netflix. It's part of a series of documentaries they do. I forgot the title of them. Unheard, Unhinged, Untold. And it's about the Astro World Music Festival catastrophe. Live Nation and Travis Scott are 100% to blame for those deaths where the crowd got crushed and suffocated to death. But his music ain't my thing. But again, that's all rap music. It's not fair for me to sit there and judge modern rap because it all sucks to me. Somebody said Travis Scott is not his real name. Well, that is a lame, fake name then. Is that really not his real name? I just assumed it was his real name because it's not like Lil something or Big Homie or whatever all the BS names rappers give themselves that all sound the same. Lil Pump, Lil this, Lil that. Lil Gay is what it sounds like to me. Eric Smiley says Def Leppard, they were good. Of course, Rick Allen continuing drumming without one arm is phenomenal. Def Leppard's one of the greatest bands of all time. They're probably the best English rock band of all time, and their consistency. Like Def Leppard never fell back. I mean, they don't have like the radio hits now. Most bands, you got about a 10-year window as an artist to have hits on the radio. Really, and that is if you're an icon. You really got about 3 albums. You got about 3 albums that you need to have hits off of, and you can ride those 3 albums for the rest of your life. You become a nostalgia act after that. Because if you look at the bands from the 80s, for example, that had 3 big selling albums, not 2, not 1, but 3 big selling albums, those bands are still the bands today that never had to step down and play clubs, never had to come back and play theaters. They're the ones that are still selling out amphitheaters, stadiums, and arenas. There's one exception to that rule that I can think of, and that is Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses had, and technically it's 3 big albums. They had Appetite for Destruction, which is just one of the biggest albums of all time, one of the greatest rock albums of all time. And then they had Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, which technically would be 3 albums, but I consider Use Your Illusion 1 album. Now, if you want to get into semantics and say that Lies, Lies, Lies was an album and not an EP, I'll buy that. But they're the exception, not the rule. The rule is look at bands that got 3 or more big-time albums, and those are the bands today still that are performing in front of sold-out crowds. And I'll just go back to it. Poison had 3 huge albums. Their 4th did go platinum. Actually, I think all their stuff's gone platinum, but they had the self-titled. They had Look What the Cat Dragged In, Open Up and Say I, Flesh and Blood, all huge multi-platinum albums. Def Leppard, Pyromania, Hysteria, both did 10 million each. Then they had another one before that. So they got like 4 or 5 massive albums. Mötley Crüe. I don't even have to. They had 5 or 6 massive selling albums. Journey, massive. See, Warrant only had like 2 really big selling albums. And of course, Janie Lane's dead, so that don't help any. But they're like a step down. We could do this all day. Let's take a break, come back, and let's get to the news. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back here on WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 FM, WYAB. Let me just tell you something real quick. If y'all come at me online, tagging me in some nonsense, and you got 37 vowels in your first name, shut up when you talk to me. I'm not even responding to anybody with more than 3 vowels in their first name. I just want to put that out. The public service announcement. You got 37 vowels in your authentic motherland name. Don't talk to me. Don't tag me in nothing. We ain't got nothing to talk about. Real talk. Hashtag real talk. Well, we're going to get to that story here in a little bit. I just want to get that off my chest real quick. Hey, if y'all are looking for somewhere to eat today, you're out near the reservoir, swing by, grab the plate lunch over at McBee's. Beef tips. It's apparently their most their busiest day. I did not realize Mississippians love beef tips over rice as much as y'all do. I like it. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, I'd rather do country fried steak. I'd rather have red beans and rice with sausage than beef tips. But that's just me. It's personal preference. McBee's obviously does beef tips and rice right. I've had it. It is really good. Me and Kingfish had it one day when we ate there, and it was really good. But they sell out of beef tips and rice. Get there early. And I will say, try the red beans and rice if you like red beans and rice. McBee's is like low key. They got a couple items that I think they have the best of in the area. Their red beans and rice is one of them. Now, I haven't tried everybody's, but I've had theirs, and I'm not going to drag anybody's name into it like I'm picking one over the other. But there's a couple places that have award-winning red beans and rice, and they even tell you on the menu, award-winning. McBee's is 10 times better than some of those. Ask me privately, I'll tell you who, but I don't want to talk bad about another locally owned business on the radio. I will never do that. Never, ever, ever do that. So that's like one thing I will promise y'all, that unless that locally owned business does something, like I don't know what Greta Bully did, we'll never talk about a locally owned business negatively on this show. That is like my one safe zone. That's my line of demarcation. I don't care what their politics are, nothing. We're not going to bash locally owned businesses here. I don't care about any of the other stuff. Now, with the exception of Jasco. We will talk about Jasco because, I mean, they begging for it with some of the stuff they do at Jasco's. But other than that, well, locally owned businesses are safe. All right, man, let's get into a very controversial topic, shall we? Other than what music sucks and doesn't suck, and that is a very polarizing topic. I want to rehash that. I really do. All right, but look, man, here's what's trending right now. We're sticking with it, guys. We're sticking with the what's trending segments. Here is Colin Rugg on X. Says a new Jacksonville police officer has been stripped of his duties after a video went viral of him punching a black man in the face at a traffic stop. The incident took place back in February, but recently gained traction after the man, Willie McNeil Jr., shared the footage. McNeil Jr., 22, was punched in the face after being pulled over for not driving with his headlights on during the day. Okay, we'll get back. We'll circle back. Let's just read it, Clay. Read it, Clay. McNeil was asked to exit the vehicle not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7 times. He was asked to exit the vehicle 7 times. Black folks, this is why y'all getting beat up on traffic stops. You don't listen. You don't listen. I was told that black folks, that I don't understand, you don't understand what it's like to be a black parent. Because we had to have talks with our sons about how to act on traffic stops. This one didn't listen. It did not listen. It didn't take. Need to have that conversation again. Anyway, he was asked 7 times to exit the vehicle. Quote, the law requires that a person comply with the police officer's command during a traffic stop. These are not options, even if that person disagrees with that officer's reason for the stop, says Sheriff T.K. Waters. McNeil was arrested for resisting arrest in connection with, but wait, there's more, driving on a suspended driver's license and possessing marijuana. It says possessing MJ. I'm assuming that means marijuana. Quote, I will not commend or defend Officer Bauer's response, Waters said. He's been stripped of his law enforcement duties effective immediately. Does that mean he's fired or just been sent to desk duty? Anyway, he's been stripped of his law enforcement duties effective immediately. Just because force is ugly doesn't mean that it's unlawful or contrary to public policy. Waters said that the officer was initially cleared by the state's AG office, but they had not seen the punch at that time. So if you're watching online, I've got the video pulled up. I'm not going to play any volume because I haven't actually listened to it. but you kind of see what's going on there. The cop is standing outside the window, and the guy is arguing back and forth. Okay, so here you go right here. We kind of get to the meat of it. He's going to break the window because the guy refuses to get out. And, ooh, he got clocked, son. He took it like a man, though. I'll give him that. He took it. This is my first time watching it. He took the punch like a champ. He got a good jaw. This guy ought to consider fighting. Not the police. That just ain't never going to work out for you. See, what this fella did here, see, I don't have no sympathy for him. He did all this for the gram. That means for Instagram, for my boomers out there. He did all this for the gram. He did all this to get some clout on social media. He started recording the traffic stop, disobeying, and he got his butt whooped. I mean, why did the cop even get fired? Well, why is the cop fired? Make it make sense for me. This guy got exactly what he wanted. He resisted. He was driving without a license. How many cops get shot in these situations? I didn't even need the backstory. I could have just watched the video of him sitting there ignoring the police. I don't even need the volume on to know exactly what happened. He fa-foed. Fee-fi-fa-fo. It's the same people every time. Now, I will say this. I wanted to circle back to this. What he got pulled over for was stupid. Not driving with headlights on in the daytime. That's I'm not into the First Amendment auditing stuff and all that. But I got a problem with that. And I don't care if it's the law or not. Not driving with your headlights on in the daytime, that's ridiculous. Mississippi lawmakers, don't be getting any ideas. We don't need that here. Like, especially if you got an older vehicle that doesn't have automatic headlights. Come on, man. However, it's just like when y'all tell me the same thing. So what people are going to say is, man, he got whooped for driving without his headlights on. No, he got whooped for disobeying an officer, for not complying. That's what he got whooped for. We got about 30 seconds here before we got to take our break. It's no different than when some Chokwe Antar Lumumba supporter is done fumbled around across the river into Rankin County with an expired tag or no tag, and they get blue lighted and they decide to run. And y'all get mad and they end up wrecking or, God forbid, kill a mailman, whatever. And y'all always like, all that over an expired tag. No, it ain't over the expired tag. It's because they ran. And we always end up finding out. Felon in the possession of a firearm. Warrants. Had drugs. Stolen car. Whatever it may be. It's the same story every time. This guy didn't get his ass whooped because he had his headlights off. He got his ass whooped because he didn't comply. Let's take a break. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in. We got about a minute here before our top of the hour break on WYAB. I really want to stay on this topic for a minute when we come back. Somebody asked on the Guns and Gear text line, what are the cops white? They were white and black cops involved. What I will do is I'll drop the link to this video in to the comments section. So if anybody wants to go find where this video is streaming on Facebook or YouTube, I'll also retweet it now on my X account at SaveJXN. I recommend going and watching the video and coming to your own conclusion on what you think happened there. I don't like why he got pulled over, but the law is the law. That's a moot point, I guess. I think it's a ridiculous law, but neither here nor there. It's how he acted after he got pulled over. I don't think the cop should have got suspended. You know, it is what it is, or fired or whatever. Hell, give him a badge of honor. Build a statue after him. We'll be right back. Well, I know I'll be making him mad. I know I'm supposed to just, you're supposed to be like, oh, Clay, this is the one, Clay, you know he's wrong. He ain't wrong. I'm going to call out a couple grifting content creators when we come back. You know, I can always tell when a content creator on the conservative side's a grifter, especially the black ones that like to call out the black community. I can always tell when they're really grifting, because when videos come out like this, their reaction tells me if they're really down for the cause or if they're just doing shit for clicks and giggles. I'm going to call one out that I thought was the real deal when we get back. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Y'all don't go anywhere. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. It's the free-range human show of choice. It's your daily dose of reality radio. It's the most incendiary show on the RADIO. Anywhere. I'll put that title up against any other radio show in America. We are the champ when it comes to polarizing, incendiary truth-telling. Hey, that's what you guys tell me when I meet y'all. I bet you I heard that 200 times over the weekend at the Wildlife Extravaganza. Clay, you don't pull any punches. You tell it like it is. I can't believe you ain't been shot. That's what y'all keep telling me. I said, well, I shoot back for one thing. I can't believe you ain't been punched in the face. I punch back. You know, I am a pretty big old boy. You know, I'm sure there's been a lot of people who have thought about it, and then they see me and like, I don't know, he's 6'3", 250 pounds, and that ain't all fat. You know, and I think overwhelmingly, most people understand that you can disagree without fighting or shooting each other. Like, the people who are mad at me or the people who don't like me, 99.9% of the time are people that they're just random people that I had nothing to do with. I didn't do a story about them. Usually the FAFO champs, they don't want any more attention brought upon themselves. And also the FAFO champs are usually in jail because they're really bad people. They're not just somebody who had a bad day. These are bad people that ran from the cops, killed people, sold drugs in our communities. That's the thing that blows my mind, is all these people who don't like me, and they're the minority, by the way, the extreme minority. They call me a racist and all these things. They're mad that I'm calling out bad people, dope boys, pedophiles, murderers, people who run from the police, litter bugs, crooked politicians, Marxists. I mean, what is it y'all don't like? I mean, where am I wrong? Okay, you don't talk about enough white people. I do when they do stuff worth talking about. I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't talk about in the black community that goes on. I mean, I could report every story, and y'all be even madder then. You know, like people getting arrested for, I mean, hell, I don't even report people who rob Dollar Generals too much anymore unless somebody gets shot and killed or it ends in some blaze of glory. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what is it that y'all are upset about that I talk about. I mean, are you just mad that is it just because I'm white? I mean, is that what it is? I mean, and there's some white people that feel the same way that are mad that I talk about the black crime. Well, I mean, I can't help who commits the crimes around here. This is a news reaction show. We talk about crime and criminals. And we got a couple white boys that are FAFO'd over in Rankin County. We're about to talk about them here in just a minute. Had them they got a little messed up. They did some messed up things too close to a church. Which I think that's BS. I don't think that you should get any more or less time because it was near a church. A school, yes. A church, no. That's a little ridiculous. But that's another conversation for another day. So, I mean, I just want you to ask yourselves, you people that don't like me and think that I'm, what I do is a disservice to the community, I disagree. I mean, I'm just talking about what's on the news. I'm not out here really breaking. I have broken a few stories, don't get me wrong. But I'm really just giving you my opinion on the news. And it's usually the worst of the worst I'm giving it about. I don't understand why that bothers you. Like, why don't y'all like that? Why, do you support the criminal? Clay, you don't understand. It's poverty. Systemic poverty. Generational poverty. The government arrested black people. You don't understand. No, I understand. If you're on this side of the prison walls and you got all your working extremities and you're not wheelchair bound, you ain't mentally handicapped, everything else is just an excuse. You want to be in poverty. You want to live that life. Be about that life. You want to be a piece of trash. You wake up every day, strive to be a piece of trash. Is today the day that I get to win the FAFO championship? It might be. Let's take a call on the Mazda Jackson phone line. You on there?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know what? Be democratic. Give them what they want. Use the straight percentages. They're 13% of the population. That number hasn't changed in almost 40 years in terms of demographics, 30% of the United States, and they're a majority in our area. So use the numbers exactly as they fall out by percentage. And the numbers are going to tell the story that you can't argue with. Use Jackson police data. Use Canton police data. Use anybody's data. But it's going to tell the story that they want to argue with you about. And let them talk about that. But, you know, that ought to level the playing field. And they will then turn on that because it's going to have the same impact as when everybody was yelling that police need to be wearing body cameras. But the minute they started showing actual body camera film on YouTube and other shows that just collected it to show, the percentages in terms of participants really started coming out and how they got themselves into a non-compliant issue with a policeman. And, yeah, people of all colors do it. But the tape and the numbers point very clearly to where it is entrenched. So that's all I got.
Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, the media has been lying to black folks about how you're supposed to act on a traffic stop. The media is putting black folks in some bad situations on traffic stops, believing that they're being profiled, believing that they don't have to comply, and it's getting them in some bad situations. Yeah, you know, he mentioned body cams there. And that's the other thing. Well, BLM screamed body, oh, yeah, everybody got to have body cams, body cams. Body cams became like kryptonite for BLM, didn't it? Dang it. Body cams are racist now. Body cams are racist. Let everybody know. Body cams are racist. They actually show what goes on, what these cops have to deal with. That didn't go as planned, did it, guys? Since body cams became like a big thing, like especially post George Floyd, but all these things that would normally that had traditionally set the community off to go burning and looting and rioting and stealing free TVs and shoes in their neighborhoods, all that has been quelled, hasn't it? Because once the body cam footage is released, the majority just kind of stick their heads back, kind of go back to wherever they were hiding at, stick their heads back in the sand. I mean, you'll get a few that just refuse to acknowledge that the sky's blue and water's wet, but for the most part, once the body cam footage comes out, it's like, yeah, he fa-foed. So there's a content creator that I've been following. She's been making her way up the ranks lately. Black girl, younger black girl, calling out the black community, doing some truth telling. Now, I was sitting there looking for her name. I thought I knew her. Here it is, Carmen JC. You can find her on Instagram. She got about 38,000 followers. She's been doing good, and I like her. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to do a little profiling myself here. When I see these like younger black girls on Instagram and they're calling out the stuff in the black community, I love it. When they're calling out the culture rot and the ghetto fatigue and all that, I love seeing them wake up and do it. But my litmus test for them is when something happens involving the police. Where do they fall on it? Because, like a lot of times, especially you see this in right-wing media, when people who fly too close to the sun, and sometimes they just get tired of getting beat up all the time. See, I don't get tired of it. I'm like Kevin Gates. I don't get tired. I'm going to stand my ground. I'm not going to back down. I'm like, oh, yeah, man, this is the one. Yeah, this is the time that, yeah, man, those cops were in the wrong. No. Now, if they're actually in the wrong, I will say it. Like with the Goon Squad, we called that out. Some of it. Some of it, they wasn't in the wrong. Some of it I'm all right with. Not what happened up in Braxton that night, but most of the other stuff. Anyway, not to go down that rabbit hole. But my litmus test is when something like what this video we just discussed of the black guy not complying and getting punched in the mouth by the police and arrested. Now, how do they react to that? Are they like, yeah, he should have complied. He got himself in that situation. That's kind of how I look at it. Well, well. It looks like she deleted, unless she's got these pinned here. Let me see. She had a video where she had where'd it go? Yeah, give me 1 second. But anyway, so she was replying to this whole incident with this cop in that video we just played. And she was like, no, I support, here it is. She says, this isn't policing. This is a gang in a uniform. He asked for a supervisor and got punched in the face over headlights. I'm pro-police, but I'm not pro-abuse. This is why the public doesn't trust the badge. We're watching. No, sweetie. Stand on business. Stand 10 toes down. He didn't get punched in the mouth over headlights. He got punched in the mouth for not complying. This is how I know that Carmen JC is a grifter. Just doing it for clicks and views. Because she had to resort back to the, well, let me it's getting a little too hot in here. I've made too many people mad with my comments, but let me show them that I'm still down for the cause when it involves the police. I'm not all the way conservative. I'm not all the way game for calling out the culture rot and the ghetto fatigue. Like, this is my caveat here. Like, I got to let folks know that I'm down, I'm conservative, but I ain't that kind of conservative. It's like, please still invite me to the barbecue. I'm still calling out the police. Police bad. Police bad. This is my litmus test whenever these new creators come up and about and they start getting a lot of traction. I'm like, yeah, let's wait on the next George Floyd, or let's wait on the next so-called, the next Breonna Taylor. Let's wait for the next situation like what just happened here, where somebody didn't comply and got that butt whooped. Let's see where they stand then. And it's where I've actually kind of felt like I've been proven wrong on Candace Owens. I always got big grifter vibes from Candace. But she's been one of the staunchest, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is, we'll just say it, truth tellers when it comes to black folks not complying and getting their butts whooped on traffic stops. She calls a spade on it. And Carmen here, she ain't quite all the way there yet. She's still got to, crawfish a little bit and deflect some. But yeah, I mean, I'm pro law enforcement, but there ain't no but. The only but is he got his butt whooped for not complying. You ain't got to crawfish. You ain't got to make excuses. You've been standing on business for months now, calling out the black community. Continue doing so. Or stop doing it altogether. We'll be right back. This is the Clay Edwards Show. And to the most incendiary show on the RADIO. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Telling the truth, dropping truth bombs on them, calling it like I see it. Now, that don't always mean I'm right. We can disagree. I'm fine with that. The Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. The Mazda Jackson phone line is 601-879-0002. If y'all disagree with me, call me in. Let me know. Let me know why I'm wrong on this. Why you think I'm wrong on this. I stand by it. I'm standing 10 toes down on business. I ain't wavering. This whole shtick these people play, I want to see a supervisor. Shut up. You want to see a supervisor? Why? Why you want to see a supervisor? What's going to change when the supervisor gets there? What do you think is going to change when a supervisor gets there? Nothing. You're still going to jail. You're just going to go to jail in front of a supervisor. I mean, you're not going to get out of it. You're driving without a license. I got to get one. You got to get one. You asked to get out of the vehicle 7 times. You woke up and chose violence, because that is how that ends every time. You were not going to be the exception. You became the rule. I don't have no pity for these people. It's the same thing every time. Think of how many of these black guys over the last few years that have made the news for situations like this because they refused to comply. It was 100% avoidable. They would have took their ticket. They would have took their little single day arrest, go bond out, whatever, have their day in court. If they had just complied. But they couldn't do it. Just can't. I don't know if it's just not being able to deal with authority. Well, or what? If it's If it's because it's a white guy telling you what to do, that you just refuse to do it because you're racist, I don't know. But it's self-inflicted 100%. I know that. It's 100% avoidable if you just act right, comply, shut up, don't have court on the side of the road. I mean, folks are fed up with it, man. We've been seeing it for so long now. And then every time, I don't care if there's footage or video or not, every time it's, oh, this is it. This is the time. This is going to be the one. Everybody's going to agree that the cops were wrong here. Well, again, I don't think, not even a little bit, not even the punch. I don't disagree with it. They don't know what that guy was going to do. Did he have guns? What was he hiding for? Guns in your text line, 769-241-1944. Dan, watching online, says, a tribal marshal will drag your butt out and lay you out. If police would take education from Native Americans, then you get the foolishness done with. Breacher on YouTube says, I don't know, Clay. I've gotten out of a few tickets by asking for a supervisor because some cops don't know the law. Plain and simple. Is this the case in this scenario? Maybe not, but it's still truth. Well, I guess there's a exception to every rule, right? Antoine, watching on Facebook, says, I can guarantee without that badge and backup, it wouldn't happen. You shouldn't get punched because of not getting out of the car. Well, I mean, if he didn't have the badge, he wouldn't have been pulling somebody over. I mean, so that's kind of a silly scenario. Oh, if he didn't have that badge, he wouldn't have done that. Well, of course not, because he wouldn't be a cop and he wouldn't be pulling people over for not complying. I mean, I don't think one thing has anything to do with the other. Let's take a call on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, good morning.
Are you talking about the St. Petersburg, Florida thing?
Wait, say that again.
Are you talking about the St. Petersburg, Florida?
Jacksonville,
Florida.
The black guy with dreads that got punched in the mouth by the cops.
Yeah.
Drug out of the car for being asked 7 times to get out and not.
So most of the time when they ask you to get out of the car, it's for officer safety, right? I mean,
they usually want to. My guess is they want to search you and search the vehicle.
I mean, but they don't have the right to search the vehicle. I mean, because that's the Fourth Amendment right.
Well, they have it with probable cause. If him not wanting to get out of the vehicle gives them probable cause.
That's not giving them probable cause to search the vehicle.
Yeah, you not wanting to get out means you got something to hide, in which he did. He ended up finding marijuana.
Just because you don't want to get out of the car does not mean that you have something to hide.
Well, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just telling you that gives them probable cause. I mean, the semantics of it's irrelevant.
Cause.
Say it again.
Now, I said it doesn't give them probable cause to search the car.
It does legally.
Just because you don't want to give out. I mean, just because you don't want to get out of the vehicle.
It does legally, though. I mean, whether we agree with it or not, it does legally.
No, it doesn't. They just can't go. Clay, your car is an extension of your house. Just because, I mean, if a police officer comes to your house and says, come out of your house, but you don't want to come out your house, they can't just drag you out your house and then come in your house.
Can't they have a warrant?
The same thing goes for your car.
I think it's different with your car. If they pull you, now, look, I don't know the exact law, but I know that this happens all the time. They do not have to have a warrant or get the judge to sign anything to go through your car if they have probable cause. Now, if they don't have probable, they just randomly pull you over and you comply and you get out of the vehicle, you do not have to let them search your vehicle. But if you resist arrest and do not get out of the vehicle, then they can go through your vehicle.
And this is, okay. So we disagree on that. But the thing that I don't understand...
It's not that I disagree. I'm just telling you what I've seen over and over and over again. Now, in defense of your argument, maybe every cop is breaking the law when they do it. But I see it happen all the time. I guess that doesn't mean that it's not illegal, but we'll find out. I'm curious. You piqued my interest, so I'll find out about that.
So my thing is, now, where I agree with you is that there are plenty of cases that people who, let's say, don't follow police officers' commands and then end up actually are breaking the law, okay, they probably should have complied. But there are also numerous cases, numerous videos, full videos without being edited, where police officers just flex their deemed
Their authority. Yeah.
Just because somebody flipped them off, which is freedom of speech. But police officers don't like being, I guess, they don't like their authority being questioned. So then they try to find something to do to jam that person up. And regardless of what, we live in a police state, and you might not agree with that.
No. Well, but to this, don't flip a cop off. I mean, I get it's First Amendment. It's your free speech right. It's your freedom of speech to do it. But I would just say that knowing what we know about cops, I mean, why bring any of that stupidity onto yourself by flipping a cop off and potentially having to deal with the ramifications of that? Don't do it. There's no reason to do it.
You can't say that, Clay. But at the end of the day, somebody that we give the once again, quote unquote, authority to police society shouldn't be that sensitive for being flipped off.
I mean, I understand. I understand, but we're playing this game of how far can we push somebody before they should react. Yeah, you're correct. They shouldn't hire guys who are so emotionally challenged that they let being flipped off push them over the edge. It's just like what I said about the MHP trooper at the governor's mansion last week that had to go upside that guy's head. He probably shouldn't have done that, but I understand why he did. You know, I would have liked to have seen him have more restraint, but I understand why he did.
I don't know if you have time to.
Yeah, real quick.
I don't know if you have time to flesh that out.
There was a First Amendment.
I didn't hear about it.
There was a First Amendment auditor doing some of that First Amendment auditing nonsense where they go and try to push cops into doing stuff. And
why is that? Why is that nonsense? I don't understand why that's nonsense.
Well, I find it complete because I find you're going out looking for a fight and you try to push somebody until you get what you want, and then you cry like a little punk when you get what you want. And that's what this guy did. He went and challenged the cop and pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. Then the cop went upside his head and he screamed like a little bitch. And
if you've ever now what I will say is
he has to go. What the F you gonna do? What the F you gonna do? Now, oh my God! I want a supervisor.
Some of those auditors actually do go too far. But if you've ever watched any of them, if you've watched auditors, some auditors just are going about doing what they do, going in places, filming, doing whatever they do, and then a Karen or whatever you want to call them calls the police, and then the police try to, once again, flex this authority that they think they have over our lives, and then the person is justified because the police have to follow the law. They have to follow. We have a constitution for a reason. And if we don't have the constitution, once again, we live in a police state. Or we're no better than these countries that we think that we're better than, that we call communists, that we call dictatorships. We're no better than them. If the people that we, once again, give the power to police us don't follow the law.
Define following the law. Again, I'm going back to these. Yes, I am not for tyranny or any of that. I am not for living in a police state. But I am for when you get pulled over for breaking the law and you do not comply, Whatever happens to you happens to you. You've taken fate into your own hands. Now, and that's what happened here. We learned during COVID what tyranny is and the asinine things that a bunch of bad cops would do because I'm just air quotes here, doing my job. So we're not for that. I get it, but there's a fine line between that and people breaking the law and not acting right on traffic stops.
Okay, and that's what I was about to say. What people don't understand is that the laws that govern traffic stops and the laws that govern just normal police interactions are completely different. You should, most of the time, just simply comply if you get pulled over and you have broken the law.
Yeah, brother. But make it quick. I got to take my break.
Okay. Well, hello.
Hold on.
I would.
Hey, go. 10 seconds.
The guy who got pulled over in Florida for not having his lights on and it was raining. I mean, I don't even live in Florida, but I don't know if that's the law or not. But I mean, I just feel like being punched in the face for that and being told to step out the car.
That's not why he got crazy. That's not why he got punched in the face. He got punched in the face after 7 times being told to get out of the car and resisting. I got to take my break, brother. Great call as always. Love hearing from you.
All right.
All right. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. And welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, live here on 103.9 FM WYAB, streaming worldwide at WYAB.com. And, of course, in stunning HD at Save JXN on Facebook, X, and YouTube. And if you're on Rumble, it's at Clay Edwards Show. You can also follow me across all the social media platforms. I have 2 different accounts, at Clay Edwards Show and at Save JXN. Give me a follow. The content is different across all the different platforms. I try not to duplicate too much stuff. Check it out. And if you want to call in, and you're not calling from a private number, we take calls on the Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. There was a fellow on hold when we went to the break that I didn't say through the break, and now a crazy person is calling in repetitively on with a caller ID blocked, as if we don't know who it is. Real quick, this segment brought to you by our friends over at, I just saw him out in the hallway, Mr. Chip Matthews. How about Acme Pizza and Daiquiris? Swing by there, grab you a good old pizza. They're open till 4, not till 4. They're open from 4 p.m. to midnight. They close on Mondays and Tuesdays, but so you have to wait till tomorrow night to enjoy a great slice of Acme Pizza and one of their frozen daiquiris. Man, the pig is my personal favorite. Fresh smoked pulled pork, fresh cooked bacon, and pig, and ham, Canadian bacon. They got ham, bacon. No, it's got sausage, ham, and bacon. So check it out. You will love it as much as I do. Get one to go. It's even got the Clay Edwards Show logo on the pizza box. That's Acme, Pizza and Daiquiris, Phantom Art on the res. You can get the daiquiris to go, too. They got like 9 different frozen daiquiris there. All of it is available to go at Acme, Pizza and Daiquiris. All right, let's see here. So that's a pretty polarizing topic. Let's read some of your text. Here. Fred says, the cop gave a lawful order to get out of the car. It's that simple. You don't have to like it. Man, I get it. I've told the story umpteen times about being harassed by a Brandon cop because he didn't like how I was parked at a gas station. I mean, he was real disrespectful. And I get it, man. I get wanting to pop off at the mouth and say something. And I was like, you know what I want to do more? I want to go home today. I don't feel like going to jail. I don't feel like getting in a fight with the cops and all the stuff that comes after that. You disrespecting me in front of my stepkid. My ex-wife was in the store. He didn't like how I was parked. I parked like a punk. And that was his first words to me. I was like, oh, okay. Well, you're parked just like me, behind me. Are you parked like a punk? Or are you just mad that I got a better parking place than you did? It's real stupid. But anyway, I get it, man. I get not wanting to be emasculated by another man that you feel like wouldn't talk to you like that if it wasn't for the badge. I get it. But at the end of the day, you got to decide what you want more. You want to go home? We're going to fix a problem real quick. Like, you want to go home or you want to go to jail? Or you want to become internet famous for, I'm sorry, somebody was talking outside the door. Or you want to go viral for getting your butt whooped by the police. Try to become the next civil rights icon. Speaking of civil rights icons, transitioning. Martin Luther King Jr., the documents were released by the old MLK yesterday. Apparently a lot of pages of documents were released about MLK. And the family's upset about it. Look, I ain't had time to go through them, and I'm probably not going to. I'm going to wait for somebody else to do the highlights, and I'll take a look at it. But MLK was an adulterer. He really was not a good person when it came to his personal life. But like most men, like most great men that do great things, he's a complicated individual. A bit of a hypocrite. Do as I say, not as I do. But I don't think that, like, my opinion of MLK Jr., regardless of what's in those documents, doesn't change. He did some great things. He's still a legitimate civil rights icon. He'll still have a day, a national holiday on his birthday. None of that changes. Like, so I'm not going to, we talked about this on the live stream last night. I'm not going to change my opinion on MLK Jr. because I think he's I think he did phenomenal things and should always be remembered for the civil rights fight that he took on. I think he would be a Republican now. People get mad at me when I say this. I 100% believe MLK Jr. would be full MAGA. He'd be like that black preacher from that Attila church that keeps going viral. Where he calls out, where the black guy calling out the black culture rot. He said, y'all had Harlem and you messed that up too. That'd be MLK Jr. now. But I don't think him being with hookers, him being an adulteress, him doing all that stuff, none of that matters to me. I don't care. He had a dream. That's all. That's what he did. I mean, he did some great things. Apparently, he may have plagiarized that speech too. But I mean, again, it is what it is. It doesn't change my opinion on MLK Jr. I'd be a hypocrite if I said for some reason that I thought what MLK Jr. did was bad and sit here and say that I'm still ride or die Trump, that the same rules wouldn't apply to Trump. Trump's an adulteress, an adulterer. Trump slept with a porn star while he was married to Melania. Wasn't he married to Melania when that happened? Is my timeline right there? Didn't he cheat on Melania with that porn star? I mean, and I still think Trump does really, really great things in his professional life. Most great men that do great things like that are very complicated individuals in their personal lives. I can compartmentalize the two. I didn't elect a moral compass. I elected a president to make tough decisions. Sometimes it takes a complicated man to make tough decisions, to follow through on difficult promises. And Martin Luther King, I think, falls right in that category. I think Trump falls right in that category. I think Trump will have his own holiday before it's all said and done, and people will get a day off work, and they'll like him even more because of it. Let's take our last break, come back, land the plane for the day. This is the Clay Edwards Show. All right, guys, no sense in keeping y'all on the hook here to come back and land the plane. I appreciate everybody for tuning in today. That was a fun show. I could have talked about that music stuff for the entire show. But I was like, no, that's not what they tuned in for, Clay. They don't care about your music taste. But y'all, we got a lot of reactions from it. Y'all must care about it. You know you like it. You know y'all agree with me on my music taste. I'll be back live tonight, 8 p.m. with Sean and Lindsay on the Uncensored Show. Wherever you're watching this stream, set a reminder. Tune in. It's been fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work doing a second 2-hour show every day. That's what it turns into, is about 2 hours. But it gives me good content for this, so I'd be spending that time show prepping. Anyway, y'all check out my website. Buy this hat I'm wearing right now. I got several of them in stock. Buy, FAFO.com. There's other styles in stock, too. This is just the one I wore today. Check you out a shirt. See me back on the radio tomorrow, if nothing else. 7:07 a.m. right here. Same time, same place. Peace out.